one.
Hey! Good morning, Googans.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful Friday. It's our favorite day of the week.
That's right.
After drill, of course, coming your way live from the palatial programming office here at 1010XL, as Jaguars Today is live in the studio here. So we had to get out of the way for Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony to do their thing. I'm Beef, of course. This is Drew Hicken. After drill every day, brought to you by our friends at the UPS store.
In Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, located at 830 A1A North in Tournament Plaza, locally owned and operated by our friends the Duncans, serving the community for the last 25 years. All your printing needs, whether it be brochures, business cards, yard signs, planners, you name it, they got you over there at the UPS store in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. You can reach them at 904-285-2345. That's 904-285-2345.
What a night last night, Drew. The NBA draft in the books. It did not disappoint. I said it's one of my favorite viewing nights of the sports year. It did not disappoint. It was so good. Especially, now it was, maybe if you're a Hawks fan, it wasn't as much fun to watch.
Oh, no, Jeff.
Like our friend Jeff Prosser, or even more accurately, Jeff's sons, who are just massive Hawks fans. And as a bit younger, more in your age, they take these things a little more personally than you do when you get old and weathered and beaten down.
And you've seen a lot of losses.
Like we have. So I'm watching the draft last night, and, it shakes down like we thought going into it, where Ayton goes number 1 and Bagley goes number 2. So then the fun starts right at number 3 with the Hawks on deck, and there he is, lo and behold, the European phenom, Luka Doncic. He's right there at number 3. I love Luka's game. As a Bulls fan.
I love his mom even more.
As a Bulls fan, I sincerely hoped that somehow my team would have gotten up there to get him, because there was rumors that the Bulls were trying to move up. I'm not sure if it was for Doncic. There was also rumors that they may have tried to move up for Mo Bamba. Didn't want that. But if they were moving up for Doncic, I would have been thrilled. But as it was, the Hawks appeared to be staying put and taking Doncic number 3. But that wasn't the case. As Woj came in with one of many Woj bombs on the night, Woj had himself just a banner evening last night, by the way. If you don't know what we're talking about, Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN, he's the best when it comes to covering and breaking down the NBA, and breaking news on draft night is what he's known for. And this is why it's so insane, okay? So Woj is known first and foremost for just his incredible ability to break draft news ahead of time. He's been doing it for years before he came to ESPN, when he was with Yahoo Sports. Woj would come in, and ESPN and TNT hated Woj, because Woj would come in a good 2 minutes before the pick would go live on television, and he'd slide it in there. He knew exactly what was going to happen. He knew who was going to be the pick and what was going to go down, and it was making ESPN crazy, because everybody was just watching Woj's Twitter instead of watching the draft.
Right.
And suddenly ESPN says, man, this guy's submarining our coverage. I got an idea. Let's just hire this guy and tell him you can't tip picks before they go down. So it's submarining the one thing Woj is brilliant at. It's taking away the one great thing he does. It's like signing, a world-class three-point shooter and telling him, hey, I want you just to attack the rim.
Right.
So they sign Woj, and they tell him, no, you can't tip picks. So Woj worked around it last night, and it was glorious to watch on Twitter. Woj, the whole night, tipped picks left and right, but never said for certain that Team X is drafting player Y. Never once in the first round. Now, he started doing the second round, and they're okay with that, because second round picks come fast and furious, and really, who cares? But in the first round, they tell him he's not supposed to tip picks. So he started using very selective terminology.
Tantalized by.
To talk about, right. They're lasered in on these guys. Have cleared the way to select this player. Yeah. My favorite was, the Lakers will have a hard time refusing Mo Wagner at 25.
I saw somebody say, why don't you just say, think he looks like a snack?
Right.
Looking like a snack there at 26.
Right. It was so good. And
by the way, did you see, speaking of tip picks, did you see the Facebook Live that Bleacher Report did with Terry Rozier?
It was so good. So Bleacher Report, like you said, so set the scene. So Bleacher Report's doing a Facebook Live like this show with maybe 1 or 2 more viewers. And
maybe.
Shout out to CCG who's here. So maybe, by the way, if you like After Drill, hit that thumbs up. Get us a comment, get us a shout out, and share it with your friends. Vote early, vote often. So Danny Ainge is on Terry Rozier's
They asked
portion.
they asked Terry Rozier basically, hey, who do you think the Celtics are taking here? You got 76ers and then y'all.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, well, give me a list of names. He gets a list of names. He goes, you know what? He goes, 76ers got the next pick? And they say, yeah. He goes, all right, I'm just going to FaceTime Danny Ainge. And they're like, whoa, what? And they're like, yeah, I'm just going to FaceTime him right now. FaceTimes him, and he goes, Danny, give me the inside scoop, blah, blah, blah.
Oh. Yeah, well, you know what? It's funny. Bates Diop from Ohio State. We'll get back to the Terry Rozier question, but Matthew, you're right. Bates Diop is a guy from Ohio State that Prosser was absolutely bananas for. He wanted the Hawks to take him in the middle of the first round. Mm-hmm. The Hawks had 4 picks last night. They never took the guy. He went in the middle of the second round to the T-Wolves. I think he's a terrific player from Ohio State. I wanted the Bulls to look at him at number 22, but they had already promised Chandler Hutchison from Boise State that if he fell to 22, they were going to take him, so they honored that promise. But yeah, I like Diop. I don't know if he's a star, because unfortunately, if you're a T-Wolves fan, Matthew, I feel bad, because if he's any kind of player, Tibbs is going to grind him into the ground. Mm-hmm. This is what Tom Thibodeau does now. Take it from me, I've been there. Mm-hmm. Tom Thibodeau is going to take the best pieces you have, and he's going to grind them into hamburger meat, and they're going to be useless by the end of the year. He did it in Chicago. He will do it in Minnesota, and he'll do it everywhere else he goes. He's a great coach, but he doesn't understand how to work minutes usage and get guys rest, and he grinds them to death by the end of the year. And he's going to do it to Karl Anthony Towns. He's going to do it to Andrew Wiggins. He's going to do it to Jimmy Butler, and he'll do it to Diop. He'll do it to everybody along the way. It's just what he does. He grinds people to death. But back to the Terry Rozier story. So he FaceTimes in Danny Ainge as the Celtics pick is approaching. Now, These guys guard their selections and players they like with their lives. It's the ultimate secret. So what does Danny Ainge during the live Facebook session with Terry Rozier when he gets FaceTimed is? What does Danny Ainge do?
Not only does he... Well, first he goes, well, I don't know, Terry. I think we need to take a point guard here.
Yeah, that's a little dig
First thing he says. And then he goes, well... He goes, I don't know. He goes, I know you don't want to give me the inside scoop, Danny. He goes, no, I do. He's like, we're just... He goes, I think it's going to be so-and-so, and I just want to... He's like, we're just checking up on the medical real quick. A couple seconds later, that's the pick.
Yeah, it was the big man from Texas A&M.
Right.
And yeah, he just spilled it right out there.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's a late first-round pick. I mean, if you like who you like, the pick's coming up. It's probably already all set.
Still awesome.
But it was hilarious to see Danny just spill the beans like that on Facebook Live. I'm sure he's getting a little heat from the higher-ups in Boston. But he's untouchable there right now. He's pushing all the right buttons.
Awesome.
He's picking the right dudes. He brought in the absolute right coach. And you got to figure Boston with Hayward coming back and Irving coming back and the picks they've made and who knows what's to be done in the offseason, whether it's, they're still, I would think, in the mix at least to get involved in Kyrie or Kawhi Leonard. So it could be a banner offseason for the Boston Celtics. But the big story right now, though, is the draft. So Doncic goes number 3 to Atlanta, and then here comes Woj, man. Woj comes out of the woodwork, right off the top turnbuckle with a flying elbow right to Jeff Prosser's head with the breaking news that there's already a deal in place, that the Hawks are sending Luka Doncic to the Mavs contingent on Trae Young dropping down to number 4 or to number 5 after Memphis picked Triple J, who I really liked. I like Triple J a lot. Early on, it looked like he was going to be in the mix for the Bulls at number 7, and I really liked him. But he was a fast riser. Him and Michael Porter Jr. passed like 2 ships in the night somewhere in the last month. And Triple J, that's Jaren Jackson Jr. by the way, slid up into the top 5, and it wound up being Luka Doncic to Dallas, which Luka and Dallas, they've got a terrible track record of hitting on Euro guys, so this should work out poorly.
Right? Yeah, no doubt. Also, did I see something? I saw a tweet. I can't remember who was both, but it was the Hawks had signed at one point in their history Dr. J and who else, and neither of them played a game for him.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember who the other guy was, but you're right.
And honestly,
the Hawks have this incredible track record, man.
How do you feel about Trae Young?
It's not about Trae. I think Trae has a good. I worry about him being 6'1", but again, everybody worried about Steph Curry being undersized too. I'm not trying to make that comparison because that's unfair to Trey to say he's Steph Curry, because Steph Curry is now has reached a level. He's ascended to a point where he's a generational talent. You shouldn't compare him to those guys.
Right.
But I like Trey Young. He clearly showed an ability to score. Obviously, teams zeroed in on him towards the end of the year at Oklahoma and sort of shut down his offensive run. And he missed out on award season because he kind of fell off the map a little bit towards the end. The dude can score, and I'm sure he'll be fine for Atlanta. But the point is, and the reason he gets dragged into this is the ceiling on Luka Doncic
is so high,
astronomically high.
Yeah.
And someone made this point. This isn't my point, so I can't take credit for it. It was somebody on Twitter said that the problem with the Hawks making this move is the Hawks have never, ever been the team that knows something everybody else doesn't.
Yeah, that's true.
They've never been that team.
That's true.
So when everybody else thinks Luka Doncic is going to be the next big thing, and the Hawks say, yeah, we'll trade him for Trey Young, you automatically assume it's a terrible deal for Atlanta because Atlanta makes terrible deals.
I'm going to be honest. Just from an outside perspective, being a fan of neither team, I thought it was a bad deal.
I thought it was a bad deal, too. I know they're getting a future first-round pick, but Dallas, while not a great team, will at least they'll be a late lottery team next year. They'll be, they probably won't make the playoffs, but they'll be in that 10 to 15 range. So what are you going to get there? Is that worth swapping Trey Young for Luka Doncic? I don't think so. I'd rather roll the dice on Doncic and see how it goes. I'd take my chance on potential generational player, which they don't exactly have a lot of in the history of the Atlanta Hawks.
Right.
Go with it. Yeah. Try it. See how it works. You may feel great about it. Drew, what else is going on? Let Drew talk. No.
Never.
He's got to climb the ladder here, man. This is how it works. This is all part of the hazing process here. At 1010XL, question from Matthew. What kind of reaction do you think there would be if there were draft pick leaks in the NFL draft? Well, there are. And it's even worse in the NFL because it's 15 minutes, man.
And it comes out like 6-7 minutes before the pick's
and then
made.
And then you get that graphic. The pick is in, and it takes 3-4 minutes from there to announce the pick. So
you basically have to stay off Twitter completely if you don't. If
you're on Twitter, the picks are leaked.
Yeah.
As much as Woj used to leak the NBA picks, the picks come fast and furious in the NFL draft too. I mean, you got to stay off Twitter, and it's hard because draft night, half the fun of draft night is being on Twitter and engaging with the people and ripping the picks or pumping up your own team.
Right.
And when those picks are being spoiled, you either have to accept the fact that whatever you're watching on TV is not going to be live for you. You're already going to know what's coming.
Right.
But yeah, it's tough. So, I mean, the NFL, it's part of the world we live in today. You have to embrace the fact that these picks are going to be announced. And I almost wonder if at some point they're going to embrace that and let people know what's happening and then just let the televised pick be part of the program, but don't try to protect it like it's a sacred thing because people are going to get those picks out there. I don't know how you keep that from happening. Unless you go to a
can't
full,
anymore. You just can't. I don't think.
Because there's too many sources with the teams that are letting this information out. You can't put everything in a vacuum. You can't isolate everybody everywhere. You've got, in the case of the NBA, you've got 30 teams in different markets, and you've got numerous people working in the draft rooms at each of those teams, and each one of them knows people in the media, and a lot of them are anonymous sources, and they're going to leak this information, and it's going to get out. Yeah. And that's why Woj is so strong in the NBA circles, because he knows so many people, he's connected to so many people, and they trust him that he'll keep their status anonymous, and so he gets quality intel and gets it out there. So it's part of the nature of being a sports fan these days. So you either have to choose that I'm just going to watch the draft, and I'm going to stay off of social media, and I'm also going to turn my phone off because my friends that are on Twitter are going to text me when stuff happens, or you're going to immerse yourself in the full digital experience, and you're going to accept the fact that when you watch a pick be made on the stage, that you're not watching something you didn't already know.
But like you said, I mean, that's all the fun. I mean, being on Twitter, at least for me, during any draft process is, other than the MLB draft, because that's just not even close.
That doesn't even count. And the NHL, too, unless you're a hardcore NHL fan. It's the NBA and NHL, and which we're doing the show on.
Jeff just called us.
Jeff just called me on the phone that we're doing the show on. I mean,
he doesn't know that we have the award-winning After Drill.
And here, inside the business, Drew, you'll enjoy this, and the viewers of After Drill will enjoy this. Jeff, more than anybody I've ever known, will absolutely lambaste someone, drag them over the coals on the air, crush them via text message and phone call if they call him or text him between 6 and 10. Screams to the mountaintops. You know You know what I'm doing. Between 6 and 10 a.m. every day, you know exactly what I'm doing.
Well, at least then maybe you catch a commercial break. I mean, this is live stream.
Yeah.
No commercials.
No breaks.
Hey, come on,
we just go, man. What's this? From the CCG. Pross probably asking where Monday's show will broadcast from. Prosser's show Monday will be broadcasting from a hotel room, as Pross will be off next week on the golf trip.
Yeah.
Now, as for myself, Dan Hicken, and Drew Hicken, we'll be out at the King and the Bear at the World Golf Village for the Blake Bortles Foundation Charity Golf Tournament. We're excited about it. We can't wait to get out there and be part of it. It'll be a good time. Drew, also going on yesterday, it's not fresh news necessarily because we knew it was coming. We didn't necessarily know how many games, but we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
The Jameis Winston suspension is official.
Yeah.
I know you're a big FSU guy, so I know you watched the Jameis Winston era.
Sure.
Fully through and probably monitored him with the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yep.
I know Jameis can play, but you just wonder what's going on upstairs.
I mean, for the longest time, you defend the guy. You don't want to get into all that, but he gets vindicated on whatever basis multiple times. So you try to put that in the past, but then something like this comes up, and again, it's the same story of he didn't do it, blah blah. But then it's something quote unquote as simple as all you have to do is report it to the NFL, and he doesn't do that. And now you're sitting here and you're looking at it and you're wondering, you obviously don't need anything like this attached to your name if you're Jameis Winston.
You've had enough.
The Bucks have to be furious, as we talked about yesterday with that schedule. He now has hurt his team, a team that is thought to be making some kind of stride.
They certainly hope so.
And now, I mean, what is it? Best case scenario, you come out of that 3-game stretch like 1-2 with Fitzpatrick.
I mean, it's rough because now Ryan Fitzpatrick will start the first 3 games for the Bucks. The Winston suspension is 3 games. Fitzpatrick will start, and this opening stretch, statistically based on strength of schedule, previous season record, is the toughest 3-game stretch to open a season in the Super Bowl era.
They
open at New Orleans, then they go home and have to play the Eagles, who just won the Super Bowl, and then they've got to play the Steelers at home.
Yeah,
it's a tough 3-game stretch. It might be. You have a feeling they'll get one somewhere in there,
maybe.
But yeah, it's a tough stretch to have to run with your backup. It'll be a tough enough stretch with Jameis. So it's a tough stretch to run with your backup.
From all the stuff he's done, man, I mean, you just can't really defend the guy anymore. I mean, it's one thing to have one incident and it comes to light that maybe it doesn't happen, but then it's all these little things. It's the standing on top of a table and screaming stuff. It's the crab legs. It's this. It's that. I mean, he just can never keep himself out of any kind of trouble.
Well, right, and you read the details of this alleged incident, and it's not a good look for Jameis if it's true. I mean, this girl claims that. And
if it's not true, then report it and clear your name. Why would you even want this connected to you, man?
But according to the report, at least the victim in this thing, she says that when she picked up Jameis and his friends, that she was told she'd be squiring about a celebrity, and at some point in the evening, he was had to go through a drive-through to get some food, and she claims that he reached up and put his hand in the crotch of her pants and left it there about 4 or 5 seconds before she turned and said exactly what is going on here. And now the victim here did not report this to the police. She reported it to Uber, and that was where it stood. And so there's no criminal charges here, but Jameis also did not alert the NFL that there was some kind of incident, and that's what he's being suspended for, is that he didn't come forward with this thing, because the NFL, the only thing it hates worse than people being criminals in their league is people perceiving that the people in your league are criminals. And they don't like that one bit. The court of public opinion is incredibly important to the NFL.
Except once a knucklehead, always. I mean, there's a difference between being a knucklehead and doing.
This kind of goes above knucklehead, man. Yeah. This is sketchy, but So Jameis will miss the first 3 games of the NFL season next year. It's unfortunate that one of those first 3 wasn't against the Jags. Would have been nice to slide in there, maybe squeak one out for free.
That's right. Easy
peasy, lemon squeezy. Drew, I'm upset right now. As last night, while I'm trying to watch the draft, I'm getting, your dad is upset because the Knicks are taking the Kentucky kid Knox, and he
doesn't like Knox.
But on the flip side, he's somehow, I don't know how he's doing this, because he's already done the Mets funeral. So I figured the Mets are dead, and there should be no baseball smack talk coming from Dan Hicken. Once you kill your own team, right, you shouldn't be able to talk smack.
There's only one cancel. Team. You cancel the year, it's done.
Yeah, so he's canceled the Mets season, and he hates this guy, but he found it in his black little raisin of a heart to somehow run text messages at me to tell me how bad the Cubs were getting their ass kicked by the Reds and the Dark Knight. He hates the Dark Knight.
We all hate the Dark Knight.
He hates Peaches, but somehow he's taking great glee in the fact that Peaches is sticking it to my Cubs. You can't have it both ways, bro.
Can't.
You can't bury your team, and you can't run a guy out of town and then take glee and that guy's sticking it up my ass. It doesn't work that way.
He's just trying to take any kind of salvation he can get out of this baseball season. He will try to take it.
No, the camera is not pointed at a mirror. I don't know why everything is backwards. It's the front-facing camera because we like to look at ourselves because we are just unabashed narcissists. On
That's correct.
So
couldn't imagine doing it any other way.
So if you would like to see the show in its natural setting, sit your computer, your tablet, or your laptop in front of a mirror, and then you will watch the reflection, and you'll be able to see us as we sit. Because as we sit in the office, I'm on the left and Drew is on the right. But I guess as you would see it, I'm on the right, Drew's on the left. But it's not how you're seeing it. You're seeing me on the left and Drew's on the right. Does that make sense? It didn't make sense to me.
Let's just talk through it.
Well, yeah, tweet through it, Drew. Let's get through it.
By the way, speaking of pumping up your own team, we're talking about Kevin Knox. What do you think about Wendell Carter?
I'm ecstatic about the Wendell Carter pick.
Okay.
I like the Wendell Carter pick. He's a big body. He knows how to play down low. I think he got overshadowed by Bagley at Duke, so you didn't hear a lot about him, and Grayson Allen was still there, so you didn't hear a lot about Wendell Carter at Duke. He sort of flew under the radar, but he doesn't have a massively high ceiling in my estimation, but he has a good NBA ready game now. He can play in the post. He's a big body. He can get things done. He can rebound. I'm perfectly fine with that pick. The other pick, Hutchison from Boise State. Honestly, I don't know anything about Chandler Hutchison.
Never heard of him.
I literally have not watched a dribble of Boise State basketball. I'm not going to lie to you and say that I have. I don't know anything about him. I know that the team liked him. They promised him that if he got to 22, they were going to draft him. And I will say this. Some teams are very fortunate with the picks they take in the second half of the first round of the NBA draft, where it's a total crapshoot. You can get totally burned, and sometimes you can strike gold. And my team's been fortunate finding dudes in that range and finding good players. So I'm hoping they did that again with Chandler Hutchison. I honestly have no idea.
I really like the Grayson Allen pick to Utah, by the way.
It's a good fit for him.
Yeah.
It's a good fit for him because he's got a dominant ball-handling superstar that he doesn't have to be that guy. He doesn't have to have the ball in his hand. He can... Because I think his future in the NBA, if he's going to have one, is going to be developing as a shooter. He's going to be a spot-up shooter. And you have to be on a team with a ball-dominant matchup problem to be a spot-up shooter because someone's got to find you when you're open. And the only way you're going to get open is for somebody else to draw the attention of the defense.
Bucks should send a message and cut Winston. Yeah, they're not going to cut Winston.
Yeah, that's not the message you want to send if you're the Bucks. They're not going.
Do you want to go 5-11 this year? Is that what you want?
There's a difference between sending a message and just announcing to your entire fan base that we're quitting on the season, and that's not going to happen.
And cutting our
franchise.
I mean, look, dude,
I get where you're coming from here. I really do, but this is the NFL, man. I mean, Greg Hardy got a second chance.
Yeah.
It's I mean, can we go on to Ray Lewis? He's in the Hall of Fame. There's dudes get second chances in the NFL, and Jameis, much like everybody else, talent rules above any off-field infractions in the National Football League. So the fact that Winston has done some sketchy things, if he could play, it won't matter. Might Winston find his way out of Tampa one day? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It won't be because of anything he does off the field necessarily. It'll be because so far he's shown to be a capable but not spectacular NFL quarterback, and if he continues to be that, then he will find himself out of a job in Tampa Bay, but it won't be because of this.
Right. I agree.
It's been a good Friday here on the drill. It's been a good Friday on After Drill. We're looking forward to the weekend. Drew, you got any big plans?
No, I'll be a little plug bartending at Pierside Tiki Bar. If you guys want to come on by.
It's Tiki Time with Drew. Tiki Time with Drew. Get out there. Remember, tip Drew. Keep an eye out at the Cineplex for me. I'll be taking the Petite Filet to see Incredibles 2 this weekend. So that'll be a good time for me.
No Jurassic World
for the Petite. I think it might be nightmare-inducing for him. He does like dinosaurs. KC. Oh, well. Have a great weekend too, Casey. We love you, buddy. It's been a good weekend. We will see you Monday from the King and Bear for the Bortles Foundation Golf Tournament. We'll be live out there. Drew and I will do After Drill live at the King and Bear as well. Maybe we'll have a megastar celebrity guest. No, we won't. We'll talk to maybe. You never know. You gotta tune in. We'll see you Monday for another edition of After Drill as I inch forward on my wheelie chair. Bye.